Hi everyone, I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop. Welcome to my YouTube channel, my weather and nature page, and this is an update on the storm of December 17th, 18th, 2023. Today is Saturday the 16th, and the rain is just beginning to move in across portions of the region. So first of all, let's take a look at the jet stream, and over here I'm watching this system here. This is a wave that has broken off from this other wave over here, which is now cut off from the main flow. The main flow is moving up in this direction like so, and that's not going to be affecting us. But this system over here will be affecting us, and as it moves off toward the southeast, another wave in the Gulf of Mexico is moving up to the northeast. And it looks like we're going to be combining right over the southeast United States, then moving up the east coast of the United States, affecting all areas, basically the entire I-95 corridor. Let's take a look at the national map right now and see what the warnings are and watches across the region. And there's the map, first of all, and there you can see the precipitation, the rain developing over here in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico and a good chunk of the peninsula of Florida. And this is all going to be moving up toward the northeast. And there's that other wave over here. These two will be combining to form a megastorm over the southeast United States. Now, the warnings across our region and the nations actually, you can see a lot of coastal warnings and watches. These are gale warnings and gale watches and small craft advisories, and all the way up the east coast from southern Florida all the way up into the coast of Maine. And zooming in on this, we can see some of the additional warnings and watches across the region. First of all, over here across Florida, a lot of winds across the coastal areas, hence a gale warning and gale watch across those areas. Here we have flash flood watches and flood warnings, basically watches for right now. And then over in the Georgia coast and the South Carolina coast, there is a high surf advisory. There it is, expecting seas 4 to 6 feet pounding on the beaches, producing the high surf. And this goes all the way up the coastal areas, and then all the way up through the northeast United States. And then we have coastal flood warnings across portions of the coast from North Carolina, Virginia, up into the Delaware area and Washington, Maryland, and so forth and so on. And over here off the coast of North Carolina, that is a storm warning. Storm warning, that's winds gusting up to 55 knots or 55 miles an hour, 50 knots. And they could be seeing some of those throughout the late afternoon tomorrow into tomorrow night, Sunday night, and early Monday. But looking at conditions across our area right now, let's go to the national map once again. And there is the precipitation now over in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. And this will continue to drift off toward the northeast. So let's take a look at the actual maps itself. And here we have the current map. This is the Global Forecast System, the GFS, and this is the Saturday morning run. And it shows basically the same thing it's been showing for the last several runs. A major low area developing across southeastern portion of the United States off the Georgia and South Carolina coast, and then moving right up the coast with the system deepening as it does, and that's going to produce some very strong winds across the mid-Atlantic coastal states up into the northeastern states. Also, we'll have strong winds across Florida and Georgia before the system passes by, and then after, the winds will swing around. Instead of coming in from the southeast, they'll be coming down from the northwest. And this system is also going to be dropping a boatload of rain across just about the entire I-95 corridor. Let's take a look at some of those precipitation amounts. And this is, again, the global forecast model from the Saturday morning run. There you can see the purple area is 3 or more inches of rain. The dark purple to almost the dull orange, that's up to 5 inches of rain possible over there in the eastern portions of North Carolina, Virginia, into the Delmarva Peninsula. Over in Georgia and South Carolina, quite a bit of rain here as well, 3 to 5 inches possible in particularly the coastal regions of Georgia and the adjacent counties, and same thing for South Carolina. And then as we go through time up to the day on Sunday into Sunday night into Monday, and then Monday night into early Tuesday. This is the total precipitation expected out of this storm. As you can see, it goes right up I-95 into Maine. And even in the New York City area, New Jersey, that area there, very heavy rains. We're going to look at that in just a moment. Let's look at the forecast rain amounts for regions of southeastern Georgia, northern Florida, and South Carolina. And again, this purple area is the beginning of 2 inches of rain, and the medium purple is 3 to 3.5 inches of rain, and the dark purple up to 4.5, almost 5 inches of rain. Here's some little coves of 5 inch or more rain, up to 6 to 7 inches of rain across areas just south of the Cape Canaveral, Florida area. And then as you go further to the north, the continuation with the model run shows the rain progressing northward. So let's take a look at the conditions across areas of southeastern Georgia and, southeast, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. There you can see very heavy rain amounts total expected out of this system. About according to this model here, and this is the ECMWF, the Saturday late morning run of VIT, that's the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, showing very heavy rains. This is one of the lesser amounts. This model is being almost the outlier, showing 3.5 inches of rain. Some of the other models are showing 4 and 5 inches of rain. Over here, though, in South Carolina, around from Hilton Head and Beaufort area, there's 5 inches of rain right there, going up in toward the Charleston area of South Carolina, then up in toward Wilmington, North Carolina, nearly 5 inches of rain there. Looking at the next map over here, this is a closer view of the greater Savannah area. And here we go, Savannah at 3.5 inches of rain, Statesboro 3.7. So you can see even the inland area is getting quite a bit, but then a dramatic drop off. Not much at all in the Atlanta metropolitan area, but going further east, again, you see a whole lot, again, a boatload of rain. And a lot of this is going to fall in about a 6 to 8 hour period, maybe even less than that. The heaviest rains will be coming down at 1 to 2 inches per hour in some locations. Looking at the northeast portion of the model, it shows, again, very heavy rains across the inland portions of the northeastern states, mid-Atlantic coastal states, in interior New York State, around Albany and so forth, 2 to 3 inches of rain. New York City, looking at about the same thing, 2 to 3 inches of rain there. And then tapering off a little bit in the Boston area, but still quite a bit, still almost 2 inches of rain falling in that location. Now, another thing to worry about is the tide. The moon just passed perigee, its closest approach to the Earth for this lunar cycle. And even though the moon is now waxing and moving away from the new, going in toward the full, the tides have been very high due to the strong fetch of winds moving on shore. Now, this morning in the Savannah area, the tide reached about 1.5 feet above the predicted value. Now, tomorrow morning, this is the evening high tide, which will be about 7 and 4 is 11 o'clock tonight, and then it's about 11:30 tomorrow morning with the high tide. Now, the predicted high tide, just from the effects of the sun and the moon, will be about 7.5 inches, 7.5 feet. But the tide could be at least 2 feet higher than that tomorrow morning. So we're looking at a 9.5, possibly a 10-foot tide coming into the Georgia coast, southern South Carolina coast tomorrow morning, late morning. That coupled with the heavy rains. Now, flooding of the tidal marshes and lagoons begins in our area around 9.6 feet, thereabouts, 9.6 feet. Well, the marshes and lagoons will be totally filled to the banks, maybe even overflowing somewhat. And then if you add on that rain coming down at 1 to 2 inches per hour, there's no place for the water to go. So we could see some street flooding, particularly late tomorrow morning between 9 a.m. to about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon until that tide starts going back out. Usually the worst flooding from heavy rains with the tide is when the tide is coming in. And that's certainly what's going to be happening tomorrow morning around 3 o'clock or 1300 Greenwich Mean Time. That's 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:18, there it is, in the morning. we're going to start seeing some very heavy rains moving across the coastal areas of Georgia and South Carolina. So expect possibility of flooding with that. And there's the winds. As long as we have an easterly fetch in the winds, we're going to see that pushing in on the tide. And here we have it going throughout the nighttime hours. And there's some very strong winds moving off the coast of Florida and Georgia and South Carolina. This area here, winds in excess of 50 knots. That's about 58 miles per hour. And strong easterly fetch of winds. Now, this is at 10 Zulu Sunday. That'd be 5 a.m. Savannah time and Charleston time, Jacksonville time, Eastern time. And going into the late morning hours, the winds are still coming in from the southeast now across the Georgia areas, but still easterly across South Carolina. So strong winds. The tide's going to be super high tomorrow morning. That coupled with the heavy rains. Looking at the winds elsewhere, by Monday off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic coastal states into the northeastern states. Look at these winds. These are wind gusts. This is based on the National Weather Service blend of models, and it has winds gusting over 80 miles an hour well offshore. But even longshore, we're seeing winds in the Baltimore area in the 20 to 30, 40. There's a 46-mile-an-hour wind gust possibilities. Over in the New York City area, in the New York Harbor right here, 58, 60-mile-an-hour winds possible there. Long Island, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds up into the Boston area. So, yeah, very strong winds to be associated with this system. So let's take a look at my conditions here in the greater Savannah area, where I'm broadcasting out of here. And here we have it. Today we got the rains coming in across the area right now. As a matter of fact, looking at the regional radar, here, we can see showers moving onshore in South Carolina and in the upper portions of southeastern Georgia. Not so much yet across southern Georgia. Northern Florida, we're beginning to see the rains from the actual low-pressure system moving inland across the upper portions of the area of the panhandle of Florida. And if we go back even one more, looking at the Tampa-St. Pete radar, I can see conditions there. There it is. And lots of rain already moving in and across the Florida area. On top of this, in Florida and in southeastern portions of Georgia, there is a threat for severe weather with strong damaging winds with the potential for some very, short-lived tornadoes. Looking at the forecast from the National Weather Severe Weather Outlook, National Storm Prediction Center, has the area of southeastern Georgia and a marginal risk, a slight risk for just about all of the Florida Peninsula for the remainder of the day. Go back to here. And then going back for day 2, there's the outlook for that. And it goes up the coast, chance for some thunderstorm activity in the Savannah coastal areas of Georgia and into the Charleston, South Carolina area, a little bit more of a chance into southeast and eastern North Carolina. So looking again back at my homepage, savannahpat.name is my website. There you can see my forecast. Very windy throughout the day on Sunday with showers, maybe some thunder, showers, heavy rain. That's what it'll be, particularly from around 4 o'clock in the morning to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The rain will be coming down in periods of rain, very heavy at times, along with strong gusty winds. And some of these squalls could produce some very strong damaging winds, which could result in some tree limb damage and some isolated power outages. But then after that, sky clears off. We got sunshine and cooler weather on Monday, high around 60, high only around 50 on Tuesday. We're going to be dropping down into the upper 20s and lower 30s on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And again, Wednesday high again only in the lower 50s with lows in the upper 20s to lower 30s, perhaps middle 30s in the coastal areas, then moderating somewhat by Friday. And then for Christmas Eve, it looks like we're going to see some fair weather, a little bit milder temperatures back into the low 60s again on Christmas. So again, it's going to be a super wet one for tomorrow and Sunday, so be prepared for that. And thanks for watching my channel, and I'll catch you later. Bye.